Welcome to Travels with Phil. I'm Phil Constantine, and on this episode we are going to Old Fort Niagara, up on the northern part of the state of New York. You can see on the map here where it's located in the western hemisphere, moving into the Great Lakes there, and in the northwestern part of New York State, right between the Niagara River where it comes into Lake Ontario, literally right at the mouth of the river. Canada on the left, United States over on the right-hand side, and this is what it looks like overhead from a map. And it will show you a map coming from the park itself, the different things they have out there. It's a very nice state park, Old Fort Niagara State Park. That's an old diagram of the fort. You see the very distinctive blockhouse, and this is what it looks like now from overhead in Google Maps. So let's go to a video.
Travels with Phil continues August 3rd, 2016. This is Old Fort Niagara. And this is the fort itself. This is the portcullis. There's actually a drawbridge there and on the other side of that building right there. Swivel guns over here, the Dauphin Battery over there, entry blockhouse. There's actually 3 levels there. You can see the cannons right up in there. This is the parade ground. And you can see it here. That's the Niagara River. Come back over here. That is also the Niagara River over there. And those trees on the far side are Canada. That's Canada right there. So this is the Niagara River empties out into Lake Ontario. Now out where you see the fog bank out there above the cross flagpoles, that is where Toronto is, but it is covered by a fog bank right now. And you can see the earthworks here, the defense marks, the palisades, these palisades right here. There's the earthwork here, raises up and then lowers down, and there's a moat of a sort. Although it's not a water moat, it's a dry moat. Although I guess I don't know if they put water in there or not, but in any case. And then again, additional earthworks out here. And one of the purposes, some of the old walls, one of the purposes here is to protect the portage. And the portage is where you have to pick your boats up and carry them and walk around. And the particular reason you're going to have to walk around something is Niagara Falls. Now, Niagara Falls is 30, 40 miles up that way. Exact distance may be slightly off. There you go. You can see the people about to come across the drawbridge with a lady with the red shirt and the black pants. So she's standing right on the edge of it. That was just a musket fire from one of the reenactors out here. But up that, they would take this edge along the road up here, a road along the edge, the eastern side of the river, and that's how they got around the Niagara Falls. And so this fort protected that portage for people trying to get inland toward Buffalo and other places like that. And that was one of the main purposes here for Old Fort Niagara. Obviously it served as an area to protect certain things happening out on Lake Ontario, which you can see out there in the distance. So Travels with Phil from Old Fort Niagara, right on Lake Ontario, the Niagara River, and the border between Canada and the United States.
All right, that was one of my videos. Let's take a look at some of my still panorama pictures. This is shows the earthworks and the moat from outside. You see a little bit of the palisades there. Now, this is in one of the stockade areas that you can see this quarters. The guns up on that top level of the block as you first came into the fort. So I had a pretty good panoramic view. And there's a palisade there, all the stakes, plus some of the earthworks. So let's go see a colonial gun firing demonstration from reenactors there at the fort itself.
Open the cartridge, and how am I going to do that? That's why they said you had to have at least 4 good teeth in your mouth to join the army in the 18th century. Or at least recommended. I'm going to pour a little bit of gunpowder into the pan here. Now, I don't want to pour too much gunpowder into that pan because I do want to keep my eyebrows on my face. Trust me, doing that real quick is fun. Pour the rest of the gunpowder down the barrel. Take out my ramrod and ram the cartridge down the bottom of the barrel. Alright, and now I'm loaded. So again, be a little patient with me. Might take a few tries. Fire in the hole. Okay, on the count of 3, 2, 1.
And now one of the reenactors will talk to you all about the different uses of the bayonet.
Now for his deadliest weapon, I have one weapon far more deadly, and it is this. As we all say, ah! Thank you. It is the bayonet, particularly the socket bayonet. It attaches to the weapon, like so, and creates a sort of spear. Now, this weapon is so deadly it has been banned by the Geneva Convention. So bring your nukes, don't bring this. Alright? Now, it is deadly for 3 major reasons. 1, is it sharp?
Yes.
You sure? Last chance. No. Not at all. It is quite dull. Alright, has anyone tried to stab anybody with a butter knife before?
No.
That's good. I had a school group come in earlier and say yes. I was a little scared. Well, if you ever decide to, a dull blade's going to be a lot more painful because it means you're going to have to rip and tear into the human body. I don't want a clean cut. I want to make it hurt a lot. So we're going to keep it dull. Plus, when I'm loading the weapon, I prefer not to cut myself. Right? Makes sense?
Yep.
2, what shape do you see going down the blade? A triangle, absolutely. All right, kids in the room. Put your hand in a triangle. Yep. All right, without going like this, close the triangle. Perfect, sir. Do you notice how there are still 2 holes on your left and right? Which means that you're going to be open. It's going to be almost impossible to close up a stitching or a wound in the 18th century, which means you're going to be bleeding out. They don't have strong enough thread. It's just going to break with the pressure. So you're bleeding out. Even ripped and torn, but it gets better. What did I tell you saltpeter was made from? Pee and poo? No, not saltpeter. Which means, what is going to be on this blade when I fire the weapon? A lot of bacteria. And when I stab you, what's now inside you? Bacteria. So you'll have an infected, open, ripped and torn wound. You're not getting out from that one. I prefer just shoot me. It'd be a lot faster. So that is why the bayonet is feared on the battlefield. So what are you going to do when a long line of British soldiers are pointed at you with a bayonet? Duck. Maybe you might duck, or you might run away. So they tended to end battles in the 18th century. Now, as they ended battles in the 18th century, they also end my musket demos in the 21st century.
And finally, a flag-raising ceremony by the reenactors here at Old Fort Niagara.
Raising the colors at Old Fort Niagara. So they have a Union Jack, an American flag, and I'm not sure what the white one is.
I occasionally use other folks' photos and music, and so I like to thank them here for the credits. These are all either public domain or they do allow people to use them as long as you credit them. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up by clicking on the button below. You're welcome to leave comments below as long as the language is family friendly. And finally, if you'd like to see more of my videos, please subscribe to my channel by clicking the button over on the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you again for watching.